Victims and Villains. My name is Josh, and today I am joined by a face and a name that has appeared on Victims and Villains content before, but it has been a whopping 6 years, and she has been busy in the studio playing shows. Please help me in welcoming this edition of Artists You Need to Know, Miss Marlene Mendoza.
Hello.
It's been a while.
I know it's been a long time.
We were talking a little bit about this before we started recording, but when we initially had started the last time you were on the podcast, you had just put out the lesser between two evils.
Oh yeah, that was a long time.
And you've put out quite a lot of music since then. So I guess can you kind of talk about how the sound has evolved between Battle to where you are now as an artist?
Oh, it's evolved a lot. Like when I did a battle between two lesser evils, I was kind of still like trying to figure myself how, myself as an artist and as a solo artist, and um I really focus on like a lot of the songwriting and just kind of develop from there, and also finding my own voice, because that's when I pretty much started then to do more screaming and singing and all of that fun stuff. And because at first I was a little like then I like released like Not Afraid, and after Battle, and then a lot of people loved that, and then I just kept doing it, released an EP, and I'm just keep doing it. So people loved it, and I'm just like still developing too more as an artist and figuring out who I am and stuff. But I feel like I got a good sense of what I would like and what to do with my music.
I read an interview years ago with Matt Sings, who used to be in a band called My Children, My Bride, and they had put out that album, their third full length album. They talked about how the first two albums kind of felt like they were finding themselves, and then kind of like the sound that they've always wanted to do, they perfected with their third album. So, kind of hearing you talk about the the sound that you've been kind of chasing and trying to find yourselves. What is that process like for you? Like, at what point do you say, I'm content with this is the sound that I've been searching for all of these years?
I mean, as an artist, it's always an evolution. It's always something that you're evolving to do. You're always trying to find like what sound you want to do. But I feel like when I'm content with it, I'm something that I just love to listen to and just jam to it at my own time, and whatever I feel like that is comes from my heart, and that's when I'm like content, and I'm like, okay, let's do it. And also like not aiming for like perfection, because I am a perfectionist. I'm like, damn, this is not enough. But I have to always keep that in mind, that it's an evolution kind of thing. You'll grow and just just keep doing it, and yeah.
You talked about previously about the kind of bringing some of like heavier like screaming vocals into like the sound that you needed. And one of the things I feel as a metalhead that the world needs more of is female screamers. So
Yeah, for sure.
is it intimidating kind of stepping into like a mostly male dominated world in that regards?
um yes and no. I would say yes, because there's not a lot of like female like vocalists that's in that like genre, and I feel like now it's becoming more and more like accepted. So which is totally fine. So then it's like at first it was like, oh, but then now it's totally, I think it's being more accepted, which is nice.
Yeah, how does one of the things I'm always fascinated by artists, some artists that I've come across and doing these couple of interviews they're very much chasing that kind of like nostalgic sense of just like good times kind of club shows. When you're like bringing a lot of that energy from the studio to live, like what is it for you that you want out of a live show? Like, what you want audiences to kind of gravitate and click with when it comes to the music and in a live setting?
On the live side, I just want them to have a good time and just like jam to it and like, like just get in the groove with it. I know also like with like the whole COVID situation and like people have not gone to shows and just missing that feeling of live performance. Like now I feel like people are like really, really excited to go back to shows and just jamming to it, the sense of group, like being with a group of friends that love the same thing and just like being excited and just having a good time. That's all that matters. So I like that.
In terms of like writing as an artist, what do you find, as a solo artist? Because I feel like when you're in, even in a duet, like you can like bounce things, ideas off of one another. Um, for this project, for a solo project, how does it feel to kind of, be responsible for, you know, the way that the music sounds, but also the lyrics that accompany that, or the timing and how everything flows?
Well, I I feel like songwriting is very natural to me. Um so like it's just like taking the time to like sit down and write and make it just come through. It's like I've been doing it for a while that it's like kind of like second nature. Sometimes I'll have those writer's block, that's natural. But also like bouncing, I'll sometimes go to like a producer and like bounce out ideas with them because it's always good to have a second ear as well, especially when you're doing something solo. I also have right now some band members that I like have that does live shows with me, and I'll like bounce out ideas to say, hey, what do you guys think? And having that is really helpful and useful because sometimes when you listen to the songs a lot of time in your head, having a second ear is just better. And then you're like, oh, okay, cool. Sounds good.
Yeah, I was my next question was like in terms of like composition, like how does that work for you? Like do you have like a set group of musicians that you'll bounce ideas off of? Because it's always really interesting when you look at like a solo project where they're like,
Mm,
yeah, I have like, a designated 4 or 5 people that will come tour with me or come to live settings with me. Or then you have artists like Earthbones that just kind of rotate between like 20 different people. Whoever's got the opening and the schedule, that's what you do. So in terms of like composition, what does the process look like for you as a solo artist?
well, what I do first, like it depends, but sometimes I'll like have so for here, like I have a lyric book, so I'll start
Nice.
writing lyrics and like literally it's just a
That's
lot
awesome.
of writing whatever comes in my head. So I'll do that, a lot of writing lyrics first, and then whatever lyrics I have, then I'll write the music for it. Or sometimes I'll just like pick up my guitar and just write a riff. It really depends on my mood in a sense. Um, in this summer that's coming up, I'm gonna really focus on writing new music. So I'm also going to be doing lyrics first or the songs. I'm also gonna meet up with like my bandmates that have been doing live. They want to also like write with me and stuff. So we're gonna like go together and just bounce off ideas. So it's like it depends on a lot of things, but I what I like to do is writing the lyrics first and
That's
then the
that's
music.
that's fascinating because typically, I've read, I'll read like articles because I'm fascinated as a musician myself, like how the process works for certain people, and certain bands or artists, it's the riff came first, or the melody, or the lyrics, and to kind of hear you're like, yeah, the lyrics come first, and then it's the everything else kind of follows suit. Has it
Yeah.
always kind of been that way for you? And how did you kind of get into a groove of finding out that's the way that works for you?
Before I would do music first, like the music, I'll do like a whole like um just writing out a full song with no lyrics, but it's just like drums, guitar, bass, and just musically how it flows. And then I'll write lyrics. But for me, I feel like I like doing lyrics first and then the music comes in because then I can tell a story with it, and then the music kind of like goes like combines with it. But I like again, it really depends on the song. Like I at first I used to do like just the instrumental and then lyrics. I still do that too. It's just it depends on the day and the week and the month and everything. I guess whatever flows in the day. Like it could be lyrics first or riff or melody first. Sometimes I'll like get on my piano and just like do whatever, and then I like, oh yeah, and then put lyrics on top of it. So it's a never ending process, but I love it.
That's that's beautiful to kind of like look at that and like call that storytelling because I feel like sometimes like that's not always like the case. I'm just like, yeah, this Taylor Swift song just gets stuck in my head on repeat because
Yeah.
and then like but to like connect on like an emotional level with that to kind of talk about you know how it resonates with you. How important is it for an artist and your style particularly for there to be like this like level of like vulnerability and or even discussing like harder topics throughout the music?
I think it's super important. I feel like music for me, it's always an outlet. It's a time for me to let go of whatever I'm feeling or whatever I'm wanting to express. It's a form of expression for me, and I feel like that's so important. And and listening to music too, like you're listening to it, and you're like, oh my god, I relate to this, or oh, I love this. Like this makes me feel a certain way. This makes me feel angry. This makes me feel excited. This makes me feel sad. Like, and I love how music can do that. And so, like, always want to portray whatever emotions through my music. And that's what I love about music. Like I could get through a whole like conversation about it, but just like so I just love music and the way that you can express it and then also do that in the live setting, expressing that is just wonderful.
High Insanity is the track that's featured on this week's episode of Abyss Gazing. We'll provide a link for that in the show notes below, along with your discography as well. But it is also the title track off of the most recent EP for you. And so you
Yes.
teased kind of like getting back into like the groove of writing and stuff like that. Like, what does the next kind of like era of Marlene sound like in your head?
Um, I guess I'm still trying to figure that out. Um, may just more, just still kind of the same. Um, vulnerability and like emotion, not like I guess whatever comes comes in a sense.
Sorry, I'm getting over it. So
Don't die.
every once in a while, I still get like a little cough that just comes in and like hits my throat cords. And I'm just like, fuck.
No, you're good.
Well, I guess like looking at your discography, there are the heavy songs we talked about, and there are some of these like more softer spoken songs. What's the difference in writing those types of things for you? So like, I gotta imagine it's gonna be different to write a more ballad esque song than it would be to write
Yeah, it's definitely different. As it I guess like when I'm writing more of like the softer kind of ballads, I'm like thinking more lyrically in a sense, and I feel like if it's more heavier, it's more I'm just kind of feeling more of the instrumentals. I'm doing the lyrics and it has meaning to it, but I guess the heavier ones has more like I'm focusing more on the instrumentals, and then the softer ones I'm focusing on how it is lyrically and the music. It's depending on a lot of things, but yeah.
Well, I think that's going to do it for us. Marlene Mendoza is one of our artists that we need to know in 2024. So you just go check her out. Where can people find
Yeah.
Where can people find you online? Sorry.
Oh, so you can find me on YouTube, Marlene Mendoza. I have music videos there. I also you can find me on Spotify, on Instagram, Facebook, and all of those streaming services. You can find all my music as well.
Awesome. We'll provide a link for you guys in the show notes below. And then just a reminder in the show notes below, you guys will also find links to our mental health resource library. Talk about the mental health a little bit in this episode, but in the show notes below, you guys will find links that be of great value to you if you are someone who is currently struggling with suicide, addiction, self-harm, or depression. So until next time, remember to stay classy and keep rocking.